Good morning, everybody. I think we're waiting for a couple more people to join, so we'll just take a minute and introduce ourselves. I'm Katie Fear. I'm a real estate agent with Realty One Group. I have the Gold Achievers Group, a team with Realty One, and we are still trying to work amidst all this going on and have been busy, but putting safety first. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys a little bit about that today. I also have with us Lance Peterson. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Lance Peterson with Eagle Eye Property Inspections. We do home and termite inspections throughout the valley. We have a good team of people who are still working now. So contrary to popular belief, we are working during this. We are taking proper steps, which I'll get into a little bit later as far as keeping everybody safe, but we are still doing inspections.
Awesome. And Brandon?
Yeah, I'm Brandon Bałkowski. I work for Caliber Home Loans. I run a mortgage team there. We're located in Scottsdale, Arizona. The mortgage market's been a little bit crazy lately, so I'm going to go over some things and updates that have happened recently over the last couple weeks in regards to forbearance, appraisals, all that stuff. Just some precautionary measures and all that stuff that we're taking to make sure that we can still work in this environment.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll also be having Lisa Connell from Pioneer Title joining us. I think there was some confusion on the join site, so hang in there. She's coming. She'll be talking to us a little bit about what escrow looks like now, what closing a property looks like, how that's being done safely and to protect everyone involved. So we have some other guests here as well. And in lieu of just introducing everybody, we'll just start. This video will be recorded for everyone for use later. But because our information is changing so rapidly, like literally hour by hour, day by day, I think all of us are just trying to absorb the new information coming in, pivot to make adjustments to keep everyone safe, and also get our clients and friends reliable information. So because of that, I'm also going to date stamp our video because you never know, what might be later today or tomorrow or Monday. So today is April 11th, 2020. We're meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm really blessed to have this amazing team of people that I work with all the time. Because when things like this hit, we're able to pull together and put best practices in place for all of our clients and friends. And I love that. So I hope that you've had the benefit of working with us before. If you haven't, the opportunity is still there. And certainly we know that right now there are a lot of people sitting back, trying to wait and see what's going to happen. There's a lot of predicting what might happen. I don't think anybody has a crystal ball. I can say that I've lived a lot of years. I've been really blessed, and I have good skincare, so don't judge. But in all those years, I've been a professional in the real estate industry for almost 21 years, and I would say that I've been through a few of these times, nothing on the scale of this for sure. I don't think anyone in our lifetime has been involved in something that's so widespread in the world. And so we're certainly taking time to be cautious, to be prayerful and mindful about what that looks like, and then digesting all the information we get. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you know that I'm always involved in a lot of masterminds across the country trying to get information for my clients. What we're going to talk about today, though, my industry is real estate. So I can't really comment on the economy in general other than what I hear from top real estate economists. So I'm going to stay in my lane, and we're going to talk about real estate today. And then if you have questions about what top real estate economists are saying, I have links to information where you can hear it directly from them so that I don't mess that up. Because that's certainly not what I do. I take it into consideration, but it isn't my lane. Right now, if you've followed me for any time at all, and if you haven't, I'll tell you that For months and months, our inventory has been really, really low here in Arizona, in the Phoenix area. We have gone from like 10,000 homes for sale, which is just shy of 2 months inventory in our area, to 14,560 as of this morning. So we can see that the homes that are actually for sale, and that includes all kinds of properties. So attached property, single family property, manufactured homes, everything. There's 14,560 as of this morning for sale. So you can see that number's creeping up a little bit. I think that's to be expected, especially since we see the economy in general just slowing down a little bit, with people having job loss and that kind of thing. I will say that even in the midst of all that, what we're seeing, my team in particular, personally, is that we have several clients that are moving here for jobs that are relocating them here. So there are still people hiring here in Arizona, and there are still people working here in Arizona. And a huge shout out to all the first responders that are putting their lives on the line every single day for this virus that is going around. I can't even imagine how hard that would be, and I'm really grateful. So that being said, I'll say this too, that we are still taking new listings. Our team has new listings coming. How is that done? I get asked that a lot. But what are you going to do? And those homes are occupied. So how we're doing that is we have one person going in to do photographs. The client is actually to do our walkthrough before we list the home. Our clients are actually doing a FaceTime with us so that we can say, oh, move that pillow a little bit, move that off the counter, this would look better. So we can do a lot of that stuff virtually, which we are doing. We have one time through their house with our photographer, and at that one time, we're doing all of the technology that we do. So we do a floor plan, we do a 360 tour, we do a Zoom, I can't even think. Do you like that? We do a drone while we're there. That's okay. We do a drone while we're there, and we do photographs while we're there. And then when we come back, we put all of that together so that when it goes out to all the third-party sites like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, all that, it's in one package so people can look at it and see it. We're also conducting virtual open houses. So real estate can still be done. We're in a secondary market here, so a lot of people own second homes here or vacation here, and so it's not uncommon to do things virtually. I think that is a little bit of an edge we have in Arizona, and maybe some other resort areas as well when I'm talking to my friends from across the country. Contracts are down. So year over year, contracts are down about 22% here in Arizona. I think that's also to be expected, but what that means, right, is that we have the rest of that contracts are still happening, which is a much bigger number than 22%. And the number predicted, I think, nationally was that contracts would be down 80%, and they're not. They're down much less than that. Some states are indeed shut down altogether, not doing real estate. But as soon as they come back, I'm sure that things will pick up rapidly. Here in Arizona, again, it's just year over year, we're down about 22%, but we're still closing homes. We're still writing offers on homes. In fact, we had a message from our managing broker that our office is still closing somewhere between 15 and 20 homes a day. And so if you take that in perspective with everything else that's going on, I think it's fair to say that realtors are taking this very seriously. We're practicing keeping our clients safe. We're learning the new technology if we didn't know it already. And we're helping people buy and sell homes. I think the big myth out there is that realtors sell, we all watch like $1 Million Listing, right? Oh, they sold $1 million house and now they're on a yacht drinking champagne. But the reality is that is, if we're blessed, maybe a few times in our career, and the rest of the time we're helping people like the parents who just had a child and found out that their child has some some disabilities and they need to be close to the hospital, right? So we have to help them move because they don't have a choice. Or someone who's lost a loved one and no longer can afford their mortgage and has to sell their house right away. We help with that. Spouses who get moved for a job, right? They don't have a choice when they're getting transferred right now. They're getting transferred and they need housing, and housing is a basic need. So keep in mind when you see my realtor friends out there, your professionals, that we really are putting safety first, and we really care about people. Our job is so much less about the actual house and so much more about people. I just want to make sure you know that, how much we care for our clients. One last thing is that top economists, real estate economists are saying that this will be kind of a V shape. You've seen me show it before. I have it in case you'd like to see it again. But we're in an economic slowdown, which will probably eventually be called a recession. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley are all saying that we should see a rapid recovery in quarter 3 and 4. Again, I said earlier, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know. They don't either, but this is the prediction. If you'd like more information on where I got that from, let me know. I'll share the information with you. And then, I love when your whole entire screen is shared. Oh, this is like confusing. There it is. This too, with the exception of of 2 recessions, the Great Recession from 2007 to 2009, which most of us have lived through, and the Gulf War recession, which I lived through as well, from 1990 to 1991. No other recessions have impacted the U.S. housing market, according to Freddie Mac Home Price Index data collected from 1975 to 2018. That was Doug Bryan, the CEO of Mint Property Management. I hope that's helpful for you. There's one other slide I had here. It went away, so don't worry about it. But basically, it just showed you another slide where it showed the last 5 recessions, and in all 5, only 2 of those were housing affected. They affected housing. One of them was driven by housing, which we all know from 2008, and the other one was in 1991, and it was a slight dip in prices of homes by like 1%. I can get you that slide too. So if you are watching and you want to know more information about what top real estate economists are saying, that's not my lane, but I'll get you the information so that you can see what I'm seeing. And in the process of that, that's all that I have for you. Just stay safe. I'm going to now hand the baton over to my friend, my amazing home inspector, Lance Peterson. He's going to talk to you about how we are once we get a contract on a home, how we're moving forward with the home inspection process. Lance, can you go ahead and share?
Yeah, you bet. As most of us know that, once you do get an accepted contract, you typically have around 10 days to get that home inspection done. If possible, we really like to get it done within the first few days. That way, if we do find anything that needs a second look, if we see something that we don't like on the roof, or if the AC is not working right, we definitely want to have time within that 10 days to get the roofer or certified HVAC tech out there. Because if it's, if it's just low on Freon, that's not a very expensive fix. But if the compressor's blown, that's a multi-$1,000 fix. So we really like doing the home inspections toward the beginning of the inspection period, just in case we need to get an expert out there to determine if it's just an easy fix or if it's a expensive fix, such as replacing a major component or a unit, or, it may need a new roof, or it may just need a patch job. Our inspection is a visual inspection. We can't remove the tiles or lift up the shingles on a roof or something like that, but the roofer that can come out and give you a better evaluation certainly can. And sometimes they will give you a warranty or an estimated remaining life of the roof. Obviously, with a lot of the rain that we've got this year and toward the end of last year, anybody that had a roof leak certainly knew it. But one thing that we're doing, we really haven't slowed down. So even through this whole market, we still are doing between 15 and 20 inspections a week. There is a good team. There are 3 of us active home inspectors, and I'm training a 4th right now that all work for Eagle Eye. We do the home, the termite inspection at the same time. If we find termites, we can actually offer you a termite treatment as well, which will be done by Eagle Eye if the sellers choose. As far as the safety goes, we've always had gloves and masks and stuff like that, especially, wearing a mask up in an attic and wearing gloves. One thing that we are working on is, or doing more now, is wiping down our truck with the Clorox wipes, make sure that we don't track anything in with us when we go from job to job. But we are trying our best to limit the number of people that show up to an inspection. Obviously, we prefer it if in a vacant home, if 1 or 2 buyers show up and maybe the realtor. We're trying to avoid having a whole family show up. I did an inspection in January where 12 people showed up on the buyer side because everybody wanted to see the house. So unfortunately, the house was occupied and the seller was not having it, and the agents got into. We didn't even finish our wrap-up discussion about the things that we found wrong with the house because the agents were kind of duking it out a little bit. But obviously, we do want the buyer there. We do want the agent there. In these times, if the house is occupied, we try to get the seller to, stay to one room. Most of the time when the house is occupied, they're at work. But in times like these where you're in quarantine, some sellers go down to the park and just, walk with their kids, their dogs, whatever the case may be. Some just go from room to room. They'll be in one bedroom. Inspecting a bedroom takes about 5 minutes. So if they could, be in one bedroom for the couple hours that we're there and vacate just for us to 5 minutes to do that one bedroom, let us do our wrap up and that'd be great. So we're trying to limit, obviously under 10, but in reality, we're trying to keep it under 5. Instead of doing, handshakes and things like that, we're doing kind of the jazz hands, and we carry our hand sanitizer with us and all that fun stuff. So yes, we are currently working during this. We have inspectors that are available Monday through Saturday. We do deliver the report the same day. Every report will have a summary and a full report that has pictures as well as model numbers and serial numbers of your AC and your water heater, so you know how old your systems are. As far as, let's see here. Oh yeah, so if the buyer does have, like an uncle or a friend or somebody who's a contractor who they want to be there for the meeting, we encourage them to, read the report first and then maybe give us a call. But if they want, we can do a Zoom call. I had 3 of these yesterday, so pretty experienced with the Zoom now. But if somebody does have questions, we can do a video call or we can go over the report with them. Again, just trying to keep that social interaction to a minimum as best we can. So Eagle Eye is here for you for your home termite and termite treatments.
So Lance, I have a question for you.
Yes.
You said it was okay if the sellers were home. I'm guessing that preferably though, for your safety and the safety of your inspectors, you'd prefer if the seller were down the street for an hour.
Absolutely. And they can rotate. Typically when we do a house, we start on the outside. So it takes us, an hour and a half, obviously depending on the size. But we can do the outside, the garage, the electrical panel, the roof, the pool. We can do all the outside stuff, within an hour and a half, and then maybe spend another hour on the inside. And during that inside time, they can go to a park or, just go get something to eat if they can, or, like I said, they can bounce from room to room. But if at all possible, yes, we would like the house to ourselves, just, for the privacy of going over our findings with the buyer when they show up. But yeah, it's hard to convince the seller to move when technically it's their house.
Well, and also we're advising our buyers anyway at this time to not be present if possible, just to trust the report and get the report. Certainly they have the option of coming, but for everyone's safety, do you think that's the best practice as well, or how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, our reports are pretty thorough. Obviously, you've seen them. They have every time there's something on the summary that has something wrong, there's usually a picture that goes with it. So yeah, it'd be very easy to explain through the pictures and through the reports via Zoom or a phone call with any questions that they have if they're not able to be there, or obviously don't feel safe being there.
Okay, perfect. I love that. I think safety is on the forefront of everyone's mind, and I think we're all learning etiquette, right? Like, I find myself thinking, is that okay?
Right. I mean, I carry, I filled it up twice now, but I carry that little Target thing of hand sanitizer, and it has that little loop on it that literally is in my pocket throughout the entire inspection. And I just feel like every time I touch something, I have to put it on. So all of our home inspectors do have that stuff with us to just keep on cleaning.
Well, and I think the rest of us also want to know where you found that stuff.
Well, we got lucky that we went to Belize for our honeymoon the first week in March. So we had a bunch of it stocked up, and we brought it back with us from Belize. And Belize was obviously it's a very clean country, so we didn't use a whole lot of it. So we already had a stockpile of it before this whole thing even ramped up. So
I like that. I know I ordered some natural, right, some more essential oils to make my own.
Yeah.
It's hard to find, but we'll see. I like to pretend that I'm a little bit hippie, but really I have to look on Pinterest like everyone else. I don't really just know how to do it.
Yeah, I think it's just that alcohol, the aloe vera, and then the essential oil to go with whatever kind of scent you want it to smell like.
I hope so. Wish me luck. Okay, thank you, Lance. I appreciate it. Brandon, we're going to hand the baton over to you now, and then at the end, of course, for anyone watching, we'll do a question and answer time too. But Brandon, if you could talk to us a little bit about how mortgages are working now and the forbearance, and we're excited to hear from you too.
Awesome. And if you guys have any questions or anything in the middle of this, just feel free to stop me. I first want to go over forbearance. So that's probably the biggest topic in the mortgage world right now. And there's tons of misinformation out there about forbearance. So the main thing about forbearance, it doesn't mean forgiveness. So you're essentially foregoing your payments for a certain time period, and you can work with your servicer on that time period. It's definitely there if you need it. So if you're going through tough times and say that you're a small business and you actually need the forbearance, that's what that's intended for. If you're questioning whether or not you want to go into forbearance or make your mortgage payment, you should make your mortgage payment, just because there's ramifications of this, not only for yourself, but for the servicer themselves. So I would say, and essentially how it works is there's a couple different forbearance plans that I've seen come across my desk. The first one is you forego your payments for 90 days. After that 90 days is up, you owe all 3 payments and plus your new payment. So you're having a total of 4 payments due right after your forbearance period, which isn't great for many people. And so what that eventually turns into is you having to go into a loan modification. So loan modifications you have to actually apply for. Once you're in a loan modification, it has negative impacts on your credit. It doesn't allow you to refinance for a certain time period. So there's many things and intricacies involved with the forbearance. I would just say it's definitely a great tool if you're struggling right now. It's there for that. But if you can make your mortgage payments, I highly suggest doing so, just for the sake of yourself and your credit, and as well as a lot of things in the future. One of the things also that it affects, as I noted, is the servicers. So if you're in forbearance, the servicer still has to get paid. So that lender who closed the loan still has to pay the servicer no matter what. So if you don't make your mortgage payment to the servicer, that mortgage company, the lender, has to pay the servicer that amount monthly. So it's causing a lot of strain on a lot of these lenders, as well as servicers, because nobody really wants to retain servicing right now, just because of the costs and the amount of people going into forbearance. So that's a huge issue, in something that could come to light and really damage the mortgage industry if we're not being very careful and in letting our clients know and teaching our clients the effects of forbearance on not only themselves, but the mortgage industry in general. So that's one of the main things going on. A couple other things that I wanted to talk about. And Katie, can I share my screen or no?
Yeah, you should be able to. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you, for anyone who's watching who isn't familiar with mortgage terms, can you explain us the difference between the servicer and the lender?
Yeah. So we so I close a loan. So I'm the loan officer. I help you get your loan. When you close, that loan either gets retained by the company. So Caliber services 95% of our loans. So we won't sell, we'll sell 5%, but the majority stake go to our Caliber servicing department. Other companies that don't service loans, they bundle them up and they sell them to a servicer. So let's just say Ditech, for example, or Mr. Cooper's, one of the bigger servicers out there. Those lenders are essentially, when they close, they're making the mortgage payment to the servicer. So the servicer is servicing the loan, and lender still has to make that mortgage payment to the servicer. So the servicer essentially retains that, and they get a percentage of interest paid on that loan. So that's the main difference.
That's helpful for, like, I knew what you were talking about, but I wasn't sure that all of our clients would know. So I appreciate you telling them about that. Thank you.
Yeah. A couple other things. So, oh yeah, share. How do I share my screen?
You go down to the bottom and there should be a green button. Is there one?
Yeah.
It says share screen.
Perfect. Let's see if I can open this.
There you go. You're in.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to touch on the rate market a little bit and kind of what we've been going through. This chart right here is what we closely follow, and this is what's called the mortgage-backed security chart that we're following right now. And these levels right here are where mortgage-backed securities are currently trading. So as you can see, this was Thursday. Friday was Good Friday, so the markets weren't open, but this is Thursday. So I'm going to go back a little bit and kind of explain what's kind of been happening since the coronavirus started. So this right here is the start of the pandemic and kind of when the media started really getting into this coronavirus thing. As you can see, red is bad. So when mortgage-backed securities are trading at lower values, rates go up. So as you can see here, this is when people started pulling all of their money out of both the stock market as well as the bond market, so the mortgage-backed security market, and rates really took a dive. So you're talking about an increase of about 1% to 1.25% within a 4-day span, which we've just never seen before. And so what the Fed decided to do, you can see just the huge volatility and swings happening over that next week. What the Fed decided to do a couple weeks ago is they decided that they wanted to keep rates low. They didn't want the mortgage market or the housing market to crash. So they're buying mortgage-backed securities to essentially keep rates at ultra low levels. So you can see that they started doing this, and you can see the prices of mortgage-backed securities slowly go up. Well, they were purchasing too much. So it actually caused strain on mortgage companies. And so what the Feds decided to do is kind of level off their buying of mortgage-backed securities to keep a more level and stable market. And that's really starting to help mortgage companies be able to get back in and offer products that they weren't able to offer when there was extreme volatility in the market. So as you can see, we're kind of leveling off. Rates are at super low levels. So lowest we've ever seen. It's not necessarily reflected on our rates. Rates should be much better at this level right here. But the market is still very low rates, low threes right now, depending on credit and down payment and all that stuff. But the Fed is going to keep rates low for a long time as we kind of get through this stuff. So it's good that they're kind of intervening here, but they can't intervene too much. And I think that they realize that now and are kind of leveling things off. So that's kind of where the rate market is right now.
It kind of sounds like same thing. Like they're like I just said, we're all learning, right? Kind of feels like the government's learning right along with us.
Exactly. Yeah. So there was a ton of pushback as soon as they started purchasing a ton of mortgage-backed securities because it just caused extreme volatility in the market. So they kind of realized that they have to level it off a little bit to help everybody out. What else? Appraisals. So we're still doing appraisals. If the house has value inside, so like redone kitchens or things that are going to increase the value of a property, where the appraiser has to go inside and comp it based on that stuff, we're having them go inside. Fannie Mae has allowed us to do desktop appraisals, which essentially just the appraiser looks at comps in the area based on square footage, all of that stuff, and essentially does an appraisal on that. They're also doing drive-by appraisals as well. So we're allowing drive-by appraisals where the appraiser drives by the neighborhood and does not even go in and only views the exterior of the house. So they look at, obviously they look at the MLS photos and all that stuff, but we're allowing those drive-by appraisals as well as desktop appraisals if the property fits. So that's a big thing as far as safety and concern goes with a lot of homeowners. A lot of people just don't want people in their house right now. So that's something that Fannie Mae has kind of adopted and what we've kind of adopted as well. So a couple other things, down payment assistance. There is still down payment assistance. The types of programs that are offered are differing every day. So I foresee them coming back into the market in the next few weeks and staying as long as the volatility kind of dies out, which we're predicting it to. So down payment assistance is still offered and available. If you hear differently, a lot of lenders just aren't doing it right now, just because of the negative ramifications that could come of it. I don't really want to get too into the weeds with that, but just know that there are down payment assistance programs available. Another option that we kind of chat with our clients that may be struggling is tapping into your equity in your house. So home values have increased a ton here in Arizona, especially West Valley area. Buckeye's the hottest city in America right now. So tapping into your, yeah, that's good. Tapping into your equity is something that you can do for the time being. So there's a couple different ways. It's a cash out refinance, or you can look at a home equity line of credit. It just totally depends on your overall situation. So I would highly recommend reaching out to a mortgage professional to kind of get the full scope of what you're trying to accomplish. But now's a really, really good time to tap into some of your equity while rates are low. And they're going to remain low for, like I said, the next at least 6 months. One other thing I wanted to talk about is with the CARES Act, they did give some relief to Ginnie Mae. So what that means is government-backed programs were struggling. So there were talks about them going away in general. We actually got some relief there. So there are some guideline overlays that we have that most companies have put together. So and I'm talking about FHA and VA loans, so veterans loans, as well as FHA, Federal Housing Administration loans. So just two different, or in USDA, 3 different loan types that are used through the government. So there are some restrictions and things that companies have put together as far as like FICO restrictions. So ours is 620. It used to be you can get a loan at 580. A lot of companies that I've seen out there are going as high as 680 minimum credit scores. So just be on the lookout for that. If you guys have clients or if you're somebody that's shopping, these guidelines are changing daily. So your loan officer should be touching base with you on any changes or things that have changed with your pre-approval.
Brandon, would you recommend for agents out there and clients alike to reach out if they're not fortunate enough to be working with you or I, they're out there working with one of our other awesome professionals out there, would you recommend that they call whoever that is and just make sure that the program that they started with is still available, just in case their mortgage professional is like inundated with a whole bunch of stuff, right, and hasn't been able to reach out to them first? Should they, if they haven't heard from their mortgage professional, reach out and say, hey, is my program still available, or is everything still okay, or is that really not necessary? What do you think?
No, it's definitely necessary, and usually, like in this time, we're taking a proactive approach towards our clients and letting them know up front. So if a guideline changes, we'll go through our pipeline and kind of determine which clients this could affect and reach out to them and just let them know. But if you are pre-approved, I would highly recommend making sure that your current situation is still correct. So there are overlays every day that are coming in, even for conventional loans, so self-employed, all that stuff. Things are changing daily. The mortgage market has never seen anything like this. So we as mortgage professionals have to be kind of on our toes with all of these things that are happening and educating our clients as to how to move forward, what steps need to be taken, and making sure that our clients are still pre-approved as we've given them. It could be a couple months ago or three to 4 months ago that we talked to the client and pre-approved them. We want to make sure that they're still pre-approved if they're still actively shopping for homes.
Okay. Yeah, and I just know you and I are really good. We've worked together a long time, so we're good at reaching out proactively. But sometimes our clients don't all know that they should be doing that. So anyone out there in the process of buying, now you know you need to call and just check in and make sure everything's okay. And I'm sure realtors know as well, but just in case you're out there and you didn't know, you should have your clients and you should call and just check up with the lender, make sure everything is on track the way that it was previously, and then kind of just proactively, if something has changed, keep that together. Right, Brandon?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have anything else?
That's all I got right now. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here as a resource for you, even if you're already working with another loan officer. If you want to get a second opinion or anything like that, we're in tune with the market and all the changes happening. So just want to make sure that you guys are protected out there.
Right at the end, before we end our call, I'll have each of us that are presenting today give our information so that it's readily available right at the end, so I don't have to scroll through. So keep that handy, because at the very end we'll have you give your information for everyone to be able to reach out. And next, I'm handing the baton to my friend Lisa Connell with Pioneer Title. Of course, once we have a contract, then we have our home inspection. Our mortgage professionals ordering our appraisal and keep making sure that all of our financing is on track. And then we desperately need our title and escrow people. And so Lisa's going to talk to us about how things have changed and how they're keeping everyone safe. So Lisa? Lisa, we can't hear you. You're muted.
All right. Can you hear me now? Woo! Oh, sorry, you guys. I'm learning. This whole Zoom thing has been just the last week or so in my life. So, yes, thank you. All right. So we definitely have seen a lot of changes internally. As far as our practices go of closing escrows, they're pretty much the same until we get to kind of the end. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. As far as our offices go, all of our offices across the state are still open, except that they are not open to walk-in traffic. So there's somebody at every office you can call into if there's something that you need, or if a client needs something, they can still come to the office. We'll either hand it through the door or, work it out depending on what they need. We have some of our escrow people working at home. which is different because for Pioneer Title, we never, not very many of our escrow people actually work from home. Some of them are set up to where they can do both, but they don't really work there full time. So that's been a little bit of a transition with helping them get home because they're not necessarily used to working from there. So we've had a little bit of challenges with that, but not bad, really. It's all transitioning well. Let's see. We are definitely going. Go ahead, Katie.
Say that. I think that's most people. I think right now, the teachers are trying to figure out how to educate.
Yes.
All this stuff
From home.
Before.
Yes.
I think it's true for the whole world. We have just a little bit more grace for each other because we are all in this together. And I'm just glad we're together doing this, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing is to remember that each of us has our own set of challenges and they're all different, and just honoring each other's challenges and working through them is really the best way to go right now, and not put additional pressure on anyone, at this point. So yeah, so we definitely internally are following all the CDC guidelines as far as masks, gloves, Clorox wipes, cleaning like crazy. I joked the other day when I went in the office, I'm like, I have never seen this office so clean in my life. Like, it literally sparkles. It's crazy. So we definitely are following all of that. We do see a little bit of delays in getting some things. And I think, again, that's from the working from home thing with HOAs and banks as well, getting payoffs and things like that. But nothing major, but definitely seeing a little bit of delay internally. Let's see. I mentioned that we closed due to walk-in traffic. Let's see, closings. So everything is done pretty much electronically through email. We get the lender all the information that they need through email. And then when it comes down to when the borrower or the seller would come in to sign. And the signings are being handled several ways. One would be through a notary, like if we sent a notary out to their home, if they prefer that. The other is a curbside signing where they could come and our escrow officers will come out, and we have clipboards and things like that, and they're working through that with their gloves and their whole, PPE stuff. And we also have some hallway signings going on, and where we're setting up a table and we have a splash guard in the middle. So the customer will come in, the EO will come in from the other side, they will sit down, and there's a space underneath where they can pass papers back and forth. So they're doing that as well. That's probably
to do a digital signing in Arizona for Pioneer Title.
Yeah. Yes. So that was going to be my last thing I talked about because it's so new. So it's called RON, Remote Online Notarization. There are, so RON was going to become a thing or legal at July 1st of this year. And because of all the changes and all the things going on, Ducey actually moved it up to April 10th. So we are now officially legal to do RON in Arizona. Some of the challenges with RON are that we don't have all the processes in place, not necessarily Pioneer Title, but the state, as far as having, like our regular notary companies that do notaries for us now, they are not doing online. There's third-party companies out there that have been working on this for a long time, and eventually they will get their processes in place. A lot of questions that I've been getting about that is like, what's the fee for it? So we don't have it yet because those third-party companies will be setting their own fees, and we don't know what they are yet. However, I can tell you that internally, Pioneer has 2 certified online notaries on staff. So if we are able to schedule the client during the business hours and our staff is in and they're available, they will do that signing for free. So we're working on getting people staffed internally. We probably won't have a lot, but we're probably going to get a handful here within the next couple months. We've got 2 that are already ready to go and already doing signings. So remote online signings come with challenges in the sense that if it's a cash deal, it's a slam dunk. We can do cash deal signings all day long, buyer, seller, no problem. If they're getting a loan, that has to be approved by the lender. So all of our lenders are not on board yet with remote online signings. So they're we're hoping or seeing that they're kind of relaxing a little and trying to figure out what that looks like for them. And then they're going to let us know. But we have a few lenders that are already on board. I don't know who they are. I just have heard this through my calls. And the other thing is our underwriters, our title underwriters have to be on board. So we do have, I think we've got 3 right now that are on board. And so we're good to go as far as those go. And we've already been using that to get those signings done. If let's say that we open escrow and we open it on a title paper that isn't one that's approved by Ron, and you're already in the escrow and you get to closing and you say, hey, I want to close, my client wants to sign online. The escrow officer, it's not that difficult to switch the paper, basically, like switch to a new prelim. They can just move it over to another underwriter that will allow that. So that is a possibility if that happens. So just know that when you ask for an online notary, it may come with some challenges based on what has to be approved. It has to qualify, basically. The file has to qualify for online notary. Like I said, cash deals, either way. Now, on a deal where the buyer is getting a loan, on a transaction where they're getting a loan, the lender also has to approve the notary on the seller side. So that's really important to know. You'd think, well, it's the seller. Why do they have to? Well, they do, because they're not all on board with they will still want wet signatures on notes and deeds of trust right now. All the other documents is not so important because those can be scanned in anyway, but those main documents that they've been fighting that for a while. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Like Brandon said, things are changing every day. I get new information every day about a different process or something changing. But we are definitely on the forefront of remote online. Tyler Newland, who works for Pioneer, has actually been working on this for about 5 years. It just hasn't come to fruition. So he's been kind of working with legislators and working with people trying to get this in place. So the good news is that we're already connected to third-party vendors who can do our verifications for us. We've already got 2 employees within that can take care of that. So we're moving forward in that direction, and I think that's going to be a big deal going through what we're going through now. And then in the future, I think it'll just be another option, sort of like how we have notaries as an option now, or it'll be sort of the same thing. And then as I get more information, Katie, I'll pass that on to you so that you kind of have that, especially when we get a fee structure, but we don't even have that yet.
Well, and we can always do another Zoom, right, to update people, because
Sure.
we talked about earlier, the information is changing hour by hour, day by day for each of us. So
Yeah.
Before you joined us, we date stamped this video because by Tuesday
Yeah.
it might be, another story.
Yeah.
But
True.
I guess in the whole scheme of things, I feel grateful that even if Tuesday comes and we have to redo everything, I still have the blessing of waking up and redoing it, right? Which isn't
Amen. Yes.
peace for everyone. So just prayers and safety for everybody, right? Just grateful that we have the opportunity to pivot and shift.
Yeah. Well, we learned that in our business for sure. Real estate definitely, you have to be flexible. And right now we're still very blessed. We're able to continue our businesses and take care of our clients and really help those that still need to move. And it's such a blessing for us to be able to do that. And it's great to have partners that we can learn from and help each other through this process.
I agree. Hey, Brandon, I have a question for you based on what Lisa said. So are you guys able to do the not wet signatures right now? How is that working? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
I'm 100% certain, honestly. I know there's been talks about it. I am not 100% sure if we've been on board with it. Usually Caliber's a little bit more conservative with a lot of things. So if I had to guess, I would say that we're not yet on board with it. I'm assuming in the future, because we're we're a technology-driven company as well. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
in the near future, that as long as it fits within our parameters and guidelines, there's a couple of things that could be red flags with it, as far as making sure that the person is exactly who they are. So that's the main thing. But I'm sure in the near future, all of that stuff will get worked out. It's just so new. It's just difficult.
That's right. Yeah, and a lot of the government loans push back right now. They have really pushed back on approving it because they are very nervous about that vetted part of it, is making sure that it is the right person and the husband's not signing for the wife and those types of things. And that's why there will be a third party company that actually does that part of it. And those questions will be coming outside of us. So let's say that one of Pioneer's people are going to do the notary. The questions that come are not our questions. They come from a third party verification company. And it might be something like, in 1991, you lived in, El Mirage, Arizona. Give me the house number that you lived in. Like, it's got to be something that only that person is really going to know. Like, it's going to be stuff that we probably won't even remember. That's what scares me. I'm like, I wouldn't remember what I did in 1991. So I don't know, but it's definitely going to be, they're definitely working hard on trying to get that so that it is almost a perfect verification. So, but yeah, that's a lot of the challenge, and it's scary. I mean, I know we've talked for years about this internally about remote, and a lot of our managers that have been in the business for a long time are like, oh no, they just cringed at the thought of online notaries. But everybody's getting there, but it's like anything else that's new. It's going to take time, and every day is a new process. So I agree with Brandon. I think all the lenders are looking at this. I think they're kind of being forced to look at it, sort of. And then we'll know each day. And I think it's just a comfort level with figuring out how this is going to look and protecting those mortgages and making sure that, people do the right things. And yeah, but yeah, definitely an option for sure.
Thank you for sharing. I was trying to mute myself so you couldn't hear my background. Does anyone on here, if there's a question, I'm looking at the chat, I'll monitor that. We'll give it a few minutes. I do want to say I'm just grateful every single day to be partnered with you guys in business. Know that I feel like you're my family too. And I'm just really, really blessed to have such awesome professionals that I get to work with, and people that I know also on a personal level, right? I care about each of you, and I'm so grateful for the thoughtfulness you put into today to help our clients know more about what's going on. There's so much information out there that is just not accurate. I just wanted to have a point right in time where we said, this is what's accurate today, right now, from people that I trusted. So I'm really grateful to have you guys on here. I don't see any questions right now. Nothing? No questions? Nope. Okay, so then what we're going to do, I appreciate you guys so much and your time. We're going to wrap up the call by having each of you, Lisa, we'll start with you, Brandon, Lance, and then I will just tell everyone how they can reach out to you if they have questions about each of your industries and would like to get in touch with you personally.
Awesome. Okay, I'm Lisa Connell. I'm Lisa with an E, so Lesa. And then my number is 602-570-5329. 602-570-5329. That's my direct cell phone number. If you need to reach out, please call me there. It's the best way to get me. My email address is lesa.connell@ptaaz.com. And that's the best way to get me. Thank you.
Lance, you're next.
I'm Lance Peterson with Eagle Eye Property Inspections. My cell is 480-861-2981. And that is directly to me, so you can call or text it. But let me see if I can get it here. Kind of. A little bit.
Yeah.
My email is lance@eagleeye-az.com. And the website is www.eagleeye-az.com. I pretty much handle all the scheduling and all the questions, so I'm a 24/7 business. So you can call, text anytime if you have any questions. I actually do, ironically, get a lot of questions from agents that use me on other people's home inspections. For example, Katie, if you were the listing agent and the buyer chose a different company and some things just don't make sense, I get those phone calls explaining other people's reports as well. So feel free to reach out to me if you do have those kind of questions about home inspections.
Well, and I can vouch that you do answer my texts, usually within just a few minutes, and I bug you at all times. So I'm sorry. And all of you are like, yeah, she does. Brandon, you're next.
This is my cell phone. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Back
Move
it
it back just a little bit. Back it up. There you
Oh,
go.
I feel like I should break into song like a 1980s Back It Up song. Sorry.
So that's my cell number. You can text, call, whatever. That's going to be the best way to reach me, 480-603-5901. I'm available as a resource for anybody that really has any sort of mortgage-related questions whatsoever, market questions. That's going to be the best place to reach me. And yeah, look forward to it.
Thank you, Brandon. Okay, and I am Katie Fear with the Gold Achievers Group with Realty One. My team is amazing. My team encompasses real estate agents as well as these guys here. We're so grateful to be partnered with them. You can reach us at goldachieversgroup.com, or my direct cell phone number is 480-500-6412. And if you're looking for one of my other agents, you can always go to our website and it'll give you a list. So I hope this information was helpful. Thank you again to each of you for coming this morning. And I will send you a copy of the recording. And then for everyone that wasn't able to make it today, you'll be able to see this again on our YouTube channel. Okay, have a good day, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.